pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty much a normal post-match dinner and spending time with the people that we care about, and good night. Then snuck away pretty early. I'm getting too old to drink all night, but there's a few there I think that last a bit longer.
What was it like chatting with the Welsh guys? I saw Alan Phillips and Steve Jones, and obviously you've got those connections. What were those post-match beers like, sort of getting quiet?
Yeah, look, I don't really know Gats that well, so, you know, it was a normal chit-chat you have with a coach that you don't know that well, but you have it because that's what the game demands. But Alan and Stephen and Rob McBride, you know, we went down a pretty dusty old road there for a while, and you know, probably outside of this group, that team that I had then was probably the most connected group of players I've ever been with, and you know, they were so tight and supportive of each other because we had to make a whole lot of changes, and as you know, change is not an easy thing. So it was good to catch up with them and, you know, finally understand what Robin was saying, so I could actually laugh at his jokes. So he couldn't call me miserable last night.
Stephen Jones as well, who you had quite a bit to do with.
Yeah, well, Jones, he's a comedian at the best of times, so it's always good to see him. He can't say two words without having a chuckle. And it's really exciting to see both of them, you know, saying that, well, Robin's been doing it for quite a while. He's developed into a very, very good coach, and you know, Stephen's about to embark on international coaching in his own right. So, you know, it's really pleasing to see.
How strange is it today not having to flip open your laptop?
No, I won't be doing it. It's not strange, it is, but it is a good feeling. You know, it's ironic actually, I never took my hard drive. Normally I take my hard drive to the game and give it to one of the analysts, and I didn't even bother last night. Don't need to. Someone else's problem now, so, you know, but it's a good feeling, and Tash and I were talking about it this morning, and it's been a good ride, but it's one that we both knew was time to finish.
There's always a lot of pressure on. Do you feel today, or will that come, not necessarily a waste of it off you, but a change in terms of you?
No, I hope so. I mean, you live in a world that's got constant pressure in it, and that's going to change. You know, someone else is going to take that role, and I don't know how that's going to affect me. I'm hoping it's positive, and I don't think you even know how much pressure you are under because you're in it every day. You know, it's been 19 years as a international coach, and 11 as a head coach. So, you know, it wasn't much. There wasn't any less pressure in Wales, to be quite frank. You know, that was full on when we were there. So, you know, it just becomes part of your life. So it's not going to be until we settle down and start living normally again that we'll work out whether it's good for my health or not.
Steve, you surround yourself with a lot of very good coaches. How important is it for the next person, whoever it is, that they do something like that? I guess they leave their ego a little bit so that they can make sure they get the right people around to take the All Blacks and continue what you have laid down in the last 8 years.
Oh, look, I think getting the right team's paramount. If you can do that, then you know, the job becomes so much easier. You're not trying to do everything yourself, because if you make that mistake, you're not going to succeed. You're going to fail, and you know the role of the head coach is to helicopter over the whole group, have an understanding of every area of our business, and then select the right people to do that job and let them get on with it, and current, you know, along the way, quietly nudge them and challenge them to be better, and get them to have a voice where they're demanding of themselves and others around them. So getting the right people is a hell of a good start to the job.
Do you get asked about that by the new CEO? Do you be asked your opinion on who should?
No.
What skills that person needs to have in order to advance the program?
No, I won't get asked. But me being me, I'll probably offer an opinion.
What's your offer now?
Well, I think the person has to be able to look at what the job needs for a start. It's just what I did when I started. I had to look at, right over, what skill set do I have, what skill sets does the job need, and what skill sets are we losing, and who are the right people to replace them. And using again my own time as an example, we lost Smithy, who was great on the computer and the computer analysis programs, and that's why I really wanted Fozzie. I thought he was technically a very good back attack coach, but he's also had the added strengths of understanding how all the analysis programs and that works. Not saying I didn't myself, but that was one of his key strengths, and it was definitely a big strength of Smithy, so we had to replace that. We had Graham, who, one of his great strengths would be he'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and watch footy. And as I've said many times, I've got better things to do at 4 o'clock in the morning than watch footy. But we needed someone with that same analytical brain that wanted to watch games. So Ozzie McLean came on board, and we structured his role. Initially it was defence, but he moved into another area and has done a fantastic job. I guess with hindsight, because Fozzie's been there for the last 8 years and done a fantastic job and understands what happens, he's got a good head start on everybody else on what's needed. And he's known for a long time that I've been leaving, and he's put together a very, very strong team, I think. And if that team comes together, then that they'll have a lot of the ingredients that are needed. But it'll be up to, I guess, the panel to go through all the candidates and assess all the groups and see what they come up with.
How much have you changed?
Oh, I hope.
Since you've become the coach?
In some ways I've changed massively, in other ways I hope I haven't changed a bit. I think it's important to keep your feet where they should be, on the ground. I think I haven't lost my sense of humour, but I've probably got more empathetic, more understanding about what's required for the job, and I don't know, I guess that's for other people to say how much I've changed, but I'd like to think I'm still the same Steve Hansen that took over the job.
Steve, would you be interested in kind of an administrative role at any point? You're going into the coaching role, but down the line, is that something that would appeal?
Look, I don't know, and I know you all want me to say what I'm going to do, but I don't honestly really know. I've spent no time thinking about it. All my energy's been going into trying to win this thing, and clearly we didn't do that, but I still think we've had a really successful World Cup. After tonight's game, there could be 3 teams who've all lost a game, and only one of those 3 teams is going to win the World Cup. So it's just the nuances, I guess, for the want of a better word, of knockout footy, and we just chose the wrong day to have a bad day, and we had an opponent that were hungry, had a lot of pain from the previous tournament. It's not it's not a coincidence that if you go back through World Cup history, how many teams who have suffered some adversity at a previous tournament have come out and won the next one. We've played Australia this year, we've played Ireland, Wales, both whom were number 1 in the world at various points. We've played England and we've played South Africa, and really performed well in just about all of those games when it mattered. Other than the England game. So got to give England a lot of credit for how they turned up, and but we'll have some people who will continue to be part of this team and there'll be others that won't have a chance, but there'll be some that still do have a chance to rectify that, and they'll carry that pain because it's personal, and hopefully it inspires them to work harder and turn up and win another one.
Steve, what can you say about your next role? You did say you were going to
Yeah, I didn't say I was going to do it today, though, did I? No. So can't really say yet because I'm not really sure what it's called, the role or what I'm going to be doing, and I haven't really signed anything. So.
Steve, this pressure you were speaking formerly, is there a kind of addiction to pressure, and not tomorrow, but maybe in a few months, you'll have a feeling of emptiness?
Oh no, I don't think it's an addiction to pressure, but there will be a feeling of emptiness, I think, because every day for most of your life, or 200 days a year anyway, you're surrounded by a team, a team of young men who have helped keep me young in my thought processes and how I see life. And I'm a long way from being a Generation Y or Z, but you certainly have to pick up on how they live. You're going to miss the camaraderie of the management that help you every day to try and get this team to be as good as it can be. And I'm not sure my wife's looking forward to seeing me every day at home. So it'll be different. Of course it will be, but I think it's important that I find other things to do and share a lot of experiences with my family. I'm looking forward to that.
You talked there a wee bit about Generation Y, Generation Z. How hard has it been to get your head around them and what they're all about?
Well, ironically, I don't think it's that hard. Personally, I think you just treat them as you find them, and look, we don't have any rules on the All Blacks, but we do have expectations, and we do have some things that are non-negotiable. So it doesn't matter if you're an A or a Y or a Z, those non-negotiables are the same for everybody. And it doesn't mean to say that they can't be individuals. And I think we all want the same thing. Like you talk to a player Z, and he wants to do the same thing that all previous All Blacks have done, and that's live up to the legacy and enhance it. And they've been inspired by people beforehand. So I guess it's an environment where you can have different ethnicities and different generations, but they all come together and mix in because there's one common goal. And then I take the same approach with all of them. I just try and be as honest as I can be. Cuddle the ones that need a cuddle and push the ones that need a bit of a push. And sometimes it's a bit of both. We encourage them to push back too. We want them to have a voice and be strong enough to say how they feel about things, because if they don't, then you're not really sure they're committed. And we want them to be committed to the road we're travelling down, and we don't want to go down the wrong road either, and they're the guys out there playing. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of. We've got a group of men who are strong enough to stand up and speak how they feel about the team and own the team, which is great.
What state do you think you have the All Blacks over in?
Oh, again, I think that's probably for other people to say, but I'm pretty proud of what we've done in the time, and like a player, your job as a coach is to leave it better than you found it, and I think we're in pretty good nick. Oh, I won't miss coming to media conferences, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just, because what media conferences do is put you, front and centre all the time, and that's not really who I am. I'm quite a shy person. Not that many people think that, but I am. I like to keep my life to myself, but not having to share my whole life with the rest of the world would be great. I won't miss that. And I especially won't miss having to put my family through that. Yeah.
Would you be interested in, if New Zealand Rugby asked you to mentor Super Rugby coaches, something like that?
Look, I love the game, so somewhere along the line, if someone wants me to help them, I'll help them. I don't necessarily need to have a job to do that, but we'll see what falls out of the sky.
Steve, you've spoken a lot with regards to the honestly think at some point in the next decade, you could see some of that power being ceded so that there can be the global calendar that people outside of the Six Nations appear to play?
I don't think the problem is where the power is. What the problem is that people are only thinking about their own interests. And, that I've been involved in the Six Nations, lucky enough to be involved with Wales, and it's a fantastic tournament. It does so much for rugby up in the north and promoting it, and the atmosphere you get. And it's a wonderful tradition that they play it when they play it. But it seems to be that no one wants to move it because they're frightened they're going to lose what they've got. But you could play the Six Nations any time of the year and you're going to get the same thing as what they get now. However, I think they're stuck on the tradition of playing it when they do. And tradition's a fine thing as long as it doesn't get in the way of progress. And therefore, we've got to get the powers to be up there to see that, look, if we are prepared to shift that tournament, we could get a global season. And, that would be wonderful. A, for the welfare of the players. B, for continuity of how we could set up competitions, which, fan base would love. Imagine, the European Cup winner playing the Rugby Championship winner. Crusaders versus Saracens. That'd be a massive game, and one that would create worldwide interest. But there's just no time in the calendar for it at the moment. And until people, as I keep saying, until they're prepared to change a few things, we'll never see it, which I think would be a detriment to the game.
What are your highlights, Steve? Briefly, 4 years ago, presumably the World Cup victory?
Oh, every day's a highlight, Paddy. It's a privilege to be able to be the All Black coach. And like winning World Cups and being part of winning World Cups and championships. That's what we're here to do. And they are highlights, but you get a highlight every day because you'll have an interaction with one of your players or one of your staff, and actually know that you've just made a difference and made them better. Or you might have even, they may have helped me get better. So, and that's why I took up coaching way back in the time, because I wanted to help people the way I was helped by coaches. And, I was fortunate to have some awesome coaches, some poor ones as well, but they all taught me something. And then you get in the, I don't think that's changed, and that's why I said before, I hope I'm still the Steve Hansen in that department that I was when I started. And seeing someone achieve something that he may not have been able to do, and until you gave him the belief or you gave him a little trick or gave him something, and you play a really small part in him doing that, it's a great feeling.
Well, we've got about 3 or 4 questions out here, guys. Sam, Clay, Nigel and Aki.
Steve, I've got a text here from a mate of mine who's on the junior committee of East Coast Bays Rugby Club and all the massive junior numbers. He says, you should be very proud of how you've left the All Blacks. You've added another chapter to an elite group, and kids and parents are still dreaming of becoming All Blacks. Of becoming All Black because of you. What does that sort of mean to you?
Oh, it's very humbling, and it's it's a nice feeling. It makes you feel a little bit emotional, but at the end of the day, that's part of what we're meant to do, isn't it? So if we've achieved that, then tick. And look, our game's a wonderful game. Keep saying that the game's bigger than the individual. The game's bigger than the All Blacks or Australia or England, because it creates so many wonderful things out of it, and friendships, dreams, the opportunity to perform on stages like we have been over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So if we're still helping kids dream to play the game, whether they're girls or boys, now that the women's rugby is really taken off, I think that's wonderful. Yeah.
Clay, where you go?
Steve, if you had or will you have a parting message for this final group of players you've worked with?
Yep.
Can you share anything?
No, it'll be between us. Yeah.
Nigel, and then Aki, and then we'll
Those
go.
of us who will never experience it in our life, what's it like having 50,000 people cheer like that for your last time when you were standing with some chatting KT? What was that feel?
Again, it's humbling and a little embarrassing and gets you emotional like I couldn't speak, so looked like a bloody zombie. But like even talking about it now, starting to make me feel a bit emotional. But again, you don't do it for that, but it is an added bonus, I suppose, that people think you've done a good job.
I know it's not why you do it, but to have that impact on a crowd of that size, like what Andrew is talking about, I know you never set out to achieve it, but you just sit and just go, now I can't believe at times how being able to influence so many, and in a positive way as well, Steve.
Yeah, look, again, it's not just me that's doing that though. There's a whole group of us that make this ball go round, and to be a small part of it has just been a wonderful, wonderful privilege. And last night was a hell of a better way to finish than the week before, that's for sure. So, when people said they didn't want the game, we were desperate to have it. We finished in 07 and got on a plane and had to go home. At least this week we got on a bus and got to go to training and know we got a game at the end of it. So, and it was a nice way for some great legends of our game to be able to finish. Rito and Bender and Sonny and so forth all deserved to go out better than the week before.
Aki, finish with you.
If you were going to summarise the time in managing the All Blacks for the 15 years, what would it be in one sentence? And then what can you bring to the Japanese?
One sentence. A hell of a ride. Loved every minute of it. And just privileged and lucky to be part of it. I hope that was one sentence.
Steve, we've also had a quick message from a former right halfback who you coached old boys with. He wants to know who's going to win the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. And have you ever shouted us media guys a beer out of your own wallet?
Well, I've shouted you guys out of my own wallet as many times as you've shouted me out of yours. So just tell him that and tell him he owes me a beer. And to get off the punting. He's hopeless at it.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, guys and ladies. Thank you. Thanks for all your support over the years too.